Yo, good evening, good evening. It's your boy Rico Slade, and I'm here with the one and only Nico. What's good with you, man?
I am here, buddy.
All right, all
Trying
right,
to live it, trying to make it another day.
all
I'm glad
right.
you're alive. I'm glad myself. I'm glad I'm alive too. And just came from the screw it. I'll just say I have a fungal infection, guys, on my big toe. All right, it's whatever. I just had to say it. We had to spice it up a little bit. Only
Be
I can say personal stuff like that. By the way, I don't know
yeah,
what
just you, just you. So
on both big toes. By the way, I'm working on it. All right. It's not contagious either.
amazing. So with that in mind, today's topic is racism in soccer. So Nico here is a very deep soccer aficionado, loves the sport. Me myself, not so much, but I like sports in that regard. But we want to kind of talk about the idea of racism in soccer, and kind of when we look, especially when we look at Euro leagues and whatnot, just how it's a systematic aspect of that sport, no different than a lot of sports here in America, and we can just kind of go from here. So, Nico, in the past, and there have been several instances of racism in professional sports when it comes for, say, for soccer. And a lot of times in the Euro League, especially when you have African players, black players, in some of the Euro leagues, a way to try to get a competitive edge, usually it's with the fans, is that they will chant racial slurs. They'll use the word monkey. There's even been instances where people will throw banana peels out on the field. So in that regard, since I know you do watch a lot of soccer, you watch a lot of play. I've never seen any live games or any games that was going on, but I know those games have been played and it's occurred, especially like in times in the Euro League. Um, give me an idea. Give me a breakdown of, like, since you know soccer so well, what is like the kind of the dealings of professional soccer? Like, how do leagues get along? Are there any outstanding rivalries? Are there any, and are there any, like, not just team rivalries, but are there any fan rivalries that are pretty heated and pretty could get kind of derogatory between the fans and certain teams?
Well, I would say the whole situation of fans getting heated against each other, from opposite teams. It does happen a lot. It happens in some countries more than others.
Uh-huh.
Like definitely, say for example, a Colombia big game, just related to fans only,
Hmm.
is gonna be way different than a big soccer game here.
Yeah.
Even if it's not just the Major League Soccer, but even if it's like the US playing,
Hmm.
it's just it kind of comes in the culture. There's a lot of bad guys that they just wanna pretend like they're there for the soccer and the team and blah blah blah, but they're just really there looking for trouble.
Uh,
I don't know how it is in Europe. I feel like Europe is a little different in the regard that feel like Europe just hides it very well, because usually you don't ever see like craziness going on with the fans and stuff.
hmm.
But then I talked to someone who was close to me, who was with someone from Spain,
Uh-huh.
and he told me that she said that they get crazy and they're super heated and they go insane and they hit each other and they destroy things and blah blah blah. But you never see that
Yeah,
being here.
yeah, especially like when we talk about soccer. We can see that for hockey games and football games where it gets that serious to that level. But when you hear about big soccer rivalries, some of those soccer rivalries are super serious. So
Yeah, like Madrid and Barcelona. That's a
Madrid and
big
Barcelona.
one. Manchester City and Manchester United.
Yeah,
Usually
that's a
came
big
from the
one.
same city and stuff.
Mhm.
Like Inter and Milan. They're both from Milan, and stuff like that. And also, so that's one thing that I think. Well, those are a couple points. Also, I think racism. it does exist. I don't believe it's to the point that it's being portrayed. I do think it's bad. I don't think it's as extremely bad as they make it seem, because I don't know. I just feel like that's my opinion. However, racism is used as another tool in the toolbox. So, for example, when you're angry, when you're upset, say with, like we were saying, with the rivalries in the teams, with their fans and all, they use it just to piss off the other team, or just to be in some fight, some big event, like, oh, this
Psychological, some
person
type
got
of
pissed.
psychological leverage to get in your head to offend you. Just
Exactly.
one of the
And
dirtiest
I
tactics.
know, what I do know for sure is that at least professional soccer, those dudes, they go all out, because there are just no rules against verbal abuse. There is for racism, but not for verbal abuse. And all the time they're talking to each other on the pitch, saying the most horrible things you can think of. They're saying that on the pitch. So racism is one of those that they use it a lot, since it's such a sensitive topic. So it works. If you want to make someone upset, if you want to make someone look bad, if you or you're just racist and you want to show it, and if anything, if it looks like it's part of the heat of the game, then it's better, or it's I don't know, somehow not as bad. Because oh no, it's just a game, we're pissed, blah blah blah. Sometimes it's people just showing off, their true colors.
Yeah, I would definitely say that. I'm looking through a couple of articles specifically about fans throwing bananas on the field at soccer players, and from 2014, 2018, May of last year, 2021, there was just kind of like these instances where in Euro leagues, basically say that the leagues are trying to deal with racism from the fans hurling racist slurs, and even going to the part with throwing bananas and calling players monkeys, to try to break their spirit, and they're using it in the most ugly forms. We could talk about soccer, but there's racism. Racism is a systematic aspect. It's one of the divides. It's something that we acknowledge, that we have different races, we have different genders, we have different countries, there's a category. And when there's a category of separation, people will exploit it for the most vitriolic reasons, or if they're or for advantage, for leverage. So I just mentioned soccer because I know you have you have a background in soccer, but you see it, racism in regards to the deals with like American football, between the coaching situations, and you can kind of see it with Colin Kaepernick, taking the knee and things of that nature. You even when like the situation when Tim Tebow came up, like giving him a chance, which I think he deserved it in comparison to other players. So there are so many racist aspects in regards to professional sports, but professional sports, they a lot of times they say, if you want to know the temperature of a country, look at the organized sports of that country and see what people are into, how people are feeling, how they're expressing themselves when they're at a sporting event. And you can really tell the temperature of a country. If everybody's having a good time and there's all camaraderie at the game, then great. But if there's a lot of tension, a lot of combat, a lot of propaganda, then you can really tell what's going on with with that country. That's why in America they do all those patriotic, sing this and flag that, and American fighter plane flyovers is trying to steer the morale of maybe thousands of people into a certain direction, into nationalism. Yeah, it's not patriotism. It's really nationalism, because not everybody in that arena or whatever is going to feel a part of what's going on, because they're there for the sport. We're not really there for all the other fanfare. But it is an interesting thing in that regard. Well, let me ask you this: with the Olympics, right? Especially with the recent Olympics, you remember that situation with the Russian figure skater who was caught, using, I guess she was using some kind of substance that she wasn't supposed to be able to use, some kind of like something, because it could affect your performance as far as like your
didn't
your
she
heart.
get
Suspended or whatever.
Suspended and then came back, or though she didn't come back?
I don't know if she got suspended and came back, but I just know that she wasn't reprimanded and she was allowed to compete. But I think she didn't even, because of, I guess, the effect of that, it affected her to a point where she wasn't able to perform. So it was basically like, well, I think she might have placed fourth or lower, and it basically just kind of knocked her out. But it was one of those things where there was an issue between, well, why was she pardoned and not other, when they had the track star in America who was pretty much banned for smoking marijuana. So
I remember that too.
So yeah. So there is that instance there where it goes down like that. But it ultimately, man, it's one of those things where it's kind of just like you only can go so far with it. But racism, regardless if it's in sports or not, is just going to be a construct that's just going to occur. And but you would hope that it doesn't affect the sport much. Like we really wish it didn't affect society in that ways, but unfortunately it does. So but yeah,
very sad. It's very sad. It's very ignorant.
Yeah, it is, man. You got anything else to finish on it, man?
Actually, no. I'll be applying the medicine that the lady said at the urgent care.
This guy.
No, man, I don't got anything to add.
Well, yeah,
racism. It's ignorant. You're stupid if you are. Leave down in the comments below your opinion. I don't even know. I'm just thinking about my big toes.
Man, have a good one. Yeah, when you're out here playing soccer, make sure you have the right footwear. Like Lieutenant Dan says, keep your feet dry, and you don't want to end up like Nico with bad toes.
And don't buy cheap foot powder either.
Yeah, don't buy cheap foot powder.
Share this video. Tell them if they're not watching Rico Nico, they're missing out and they're dumb and they got a fungal infection in their big toes. Have a good one. Take it easy, Rico. Thank you.
Yeah, man.